Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Turin here with another Warhammer Total War Live Battlecast. In this particular game, we are going to play the Beastmen, and we're going to be facing off against the Wood Elves. Chairman Mao, more specifically, so always a good time. And we're actually going to go with Morker, of course, get the Staff of Ruinous Corruption. Very, very strong, and we're going to get 3 Gorbals. So I think, certain like Flock of Doom can be pretty decent against, the Wood Elf armies, but I think having 3 Gorbals is really good. If he decides to go with like a tree build, which can actually be pretty hard to crack for the Beastmen infantry, the Gorbals will really, really help you win that battle. So we're going to get 3 of them, get rid of Foeseeker. Although Foeseeker isn't bad against the Elves, I still am just trying to pinch pennies everywhere I can. So on top of that, 2 groups of Harpies might not be bad just for like chasing after missile units and things like that. And as far as other troops go, I don't know if he's going to go with like Wild Riders units like that, but if he does, the Gorbals are a pretty good tool against those guys. They have anti-large, they have 100 armor, so the Wild Riders will struggle with them a little bit. But I really like Centaurs with great weapons, and then of course getting some Chaos Poison Warhounds. But that kind of, you can see my army's already really expensive. The Harpies, I really do like them against like Glade Guards and units like that. Very, very effective at shutting down the back line, especially if he doesn't have like a flying air force of his own. But even if he has like Hawk Riders or something, these guys will trade pretty well with them, with their 44 weapon strength, which is not bad by any means. So we have plenty of armor piercing in these Gorbals. I'm trying to wonder if I want to get some Bestigors for the front line. The one issue is Eternal Guards trade very, very well with these, but if he does bring like Treekin and things like that, these guys will do quite well against them. But I think we can get away with some Gore Herds for now, just for like our primary infantry corps. We'll get some Ungors, Spears in the back line just as support. And let's see, what else do we want to get? I would love to have just like one group though. That's kind of what I'm bothered by right now. So we'll actually cut one there. We're going to get one group of Bestigors just to kind of be in the middle of our infantry and just kind of to be the backbone because... But it's interesting, they actually have the same leadership. That's funny, because you'd think there would be like the elite troops, but the Gore Herds actually have 60 leadership as well, so just something to note there. And let's see, what else do we want to get? I think as far as our army goes, that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and chevron these guys up a little bit, as they are going to be taking the majority of the beating, so we could throw one, chevron one of those guys or something. So let's go ahead and start the battle. But yeah, Morker is really strong. Pretty good against the Wood Elves, because he does have some pretty high resistances. Let's actually look right now while we're waiting. So he does have magic resistance 75%. So as you guys know, a lot of the Wood Elf lords, with the exception of Orion's melee, or is it his? It's either his spear or his melee. One of the two doesn't do magic damage. So he's very, very strong against the Wood Elves. Very hard to kill. So obviously he's a pretty ideal pick here. Summoning the Chaos Spawn is pretty good. I think that the essence of Chaos Spawn, just the standard one, is pretty good, like fair. It does require a qualifier of them being less than 20%, which can be pretty hard to get, especially with like Earthblood and Invocation from the Heck in the meta. But the second one, the staff, is pretty strong. And, a lot of people, have said that Morker is OP, and in some ways he is, in some circumstances. So I think perhaps a healthy change would be maybe to, make his staff only have 1 charge instead of 2. And then on that same coin, you could perhaps lower the percentage threshold of the Chaos Essence to 15%. I mean, even if you did that, he'd still be so strong. He has regeneration, and he's got that 75% magic resistance, which is just incredible. Certain factions, like a good Kolek beating can definitely put him in a trash can. So, I mean, he's not, absurdly powerful in all matchups, but in some, he's pretty hard, especially for the Wood Elves. So, but still, Wood Elves have a lot of tools against the Beastmen. The Wood Elf infantry, if he mixes in some, like, War Dancers, just shred these Gore Herds, like, so hard. So, again, that's something to consider. So, it's some give and take across the board. So let's go ahead and set these guys up. We'll put them in the middle, the Bestigors. Definitely don't want them taking missile fires. We're going to use our Harpies to try and protect them. We're going to put some spears in the flanks. So if he does have like a really superior cav force, we'll just fall back and use the support of our spears. We're going to put Morker in the front and center here. He's ready to go. Gorbals we'll put in group 2 and just use them to like hunt Durthu or anything else powerful he has. And we'll put the Harpies in group 4. We're going to put them here and just keep them together. And all right, I think we're good, guys. Let's have some fun. He might actually deploy in the forest, which wouldn't be a bad idea. So we'll see how that goes. But we do have the Gorbals there ready. Very cool unit. Gorbals are strong, even without potions. I've actually been seeing a lot of Beastmen players who haven't been getting Gorbals since they lost potions, but I still think they're an essential part of the army. So we're gonna go here. Let's go ahead and evaluate everything real quick. You can see we're taking an Arrow of Kurnus. I believe he shot it at my regenerating Lord Morker, which probably isn't the best use of it because he's just going to mitigate that damage extremely quickly. He did bring Treekin as well as Glade Guards here, so the Harpies are going to be good. He does have some Wild Riders over here, so what we want to do is circle these guys around. I think my guys can beat the Wild Riders, especially if I fly over and support with Harpies. So we're going to keep them out of range until we get close, and let's see what he has. So just tree infantry, which I like. It's really hard for Beastmen to get through those guys. Really, really hard. So very well played there. And it looks like, oh, is he shooting at these guys? Let's pull them up and around a little bit more. Harpies are taking some missile fires. So let's pull them back a little bit. And just keep marching. We got to keep these Gorbals. The Gorbals are just going to punish Durthu, like put him in a trash can if they're able to get their paws on him. So that's exactly what the situation that I want. So we're going to ride these guys around the flank. We're going to get the Harpies coming over here, and we're close enough that we can actually start sicking them on these Glade Guards here, because he's going to pull them back here in just a moment. So by the time the fighting starts, you can see a nice Flock of Doom hits a few of my troops, and the Curse of Anvar, which I believe is how you say it. So we're going to pull these guys. We're going to get these guys chasing here, and we can engage on the trees in the back line because they're simply going to just cross up with us here. We'll get these guys on the armor-piercing units, and we'll get these guys going here on the trees, which is good. And the Gorbles, we want to pull them back a little bit. We got a little overzealous there, and we do have the Stab of Ruinous Corruption shortly. So we'll pull these guys in the flank, pull these guys over here, have them go after the Wild Riders, and have these guys as well. And yeah, just kind of hang tight. Other than that, I think it's going pretty well. We got the Harpies very, very healthy in here. He's going to have the Wild Riders to help out, unfortunately, but we do have a pretty strong Cav force coming as well. So we're going to use the Apocalyptic Vision, and the Gorbles, we want to just get on Durthu now that he's pretty well in it. So you can see the Harpies doing pretty good, doing a lot of damage, so we want to pull these guys around, make sure they don't get caught. We will have Chaos Spawn relatively shortly. Gorbles are taking their time, they're slacking a little bit. Not the best engagement I've ever had, but still, we're going to get in here and just absolutely run these guys down. Oh yeah, this is going to feel good. So we want 20 seconds on that. We got some spears coming in to help out against Durthu, and now that Morkar's in here kind of doing pretty, yeah, you can see the best scores are cutting through those treekin pretty aggressively. So we get a nice charge on some of these guys, and the Harpies are continuing to fight. So we do have one group just working on this Spellsinger with the Lore of Life, and we probably want to get these guys out. I did get surrounded here. I got sandwiched a little bit, so pretty well played on my opponent here. But we're actually killing his Spellsinger with the Lore of Life, which is going to be very bad. So let's use the Stab of Ruinous Corruption and summon it. Like, can we reach back there? I think we have to be a little closer. So let's summon it right here. And we can actually put the Chaos Spawn on that thing and just try and finish it if we can. That would be really nice. So over here we do have some missile units, Blade Guards that we can re-engage on with the Chaos Poison Warhounds. Let's see if we can get these guys out. Definitely a big misplay there, but very well played on my opponent's part. He was on top of that and did a very good job. So the Chaos Spawn are killing his Spellsinger with the Lore of Life, which is, this is so perfect. If I can kill that right now. And some of my troops did get out, which is pretty nice. And you can see the spears back here are being engaged by Wild Riders, which is very, very good. That's exactly what you want. So right now, we're just going to kind of park back here and just wait to see what happens. And check for the Chaos Spawn. You can see Durthu is not having a good time versus Triple Gorble. That's very tough. And Durthu's a bit of a risky pick against the Beastmen for sure. But still, he's good. He can be pretty good. So let's get these Chaos Spawn on these Waystalkers and check these Hounds. And they're back now, so let's get them over here and just kind of park. We can actually go after these Wild Riders and try and finish them. Let's bring these Chaos Spawn here to try and finish those guys off, and I think his Lord should die relatively shortly. So now we're just going to push back to the back line. We can just leave the Gorble. We're actually going to stick 2 Gorbles for good measure, just to make sure it happens. We're going to pull these Harpies back, and we did re-engage here. We had the support of the Chaos Spawn, so I figured it's good to just keep occupying my opponent, and it looks like at that point he does indeed surrender. So yeah, Durthu was dead. He had 2 Gorbles. His entire front line was essentially compromised, and most of his missile troops were under substantial threat. So pretty well played to my opponent. It's definitely tricky with the triple Gorble, but he did a good job using the Wild Riders to sandwich my Cav. Definitely outmaneuvered me a little bit there, but the Glade Guards definitely still took a good amount of damage from the Harpies initially. Actually only 5 and 9 kills, but still they weren't able to really support in the front line like they needed to. And Triple Gorble just shuts down Durthu so hard. Also, the fact that we were able to kill the Spellsinger with the Lore of Life so early with the Chaos Spawn, and then also those troops that kind of snuck through into the back, that was a really, really big win. And that was actually what the Harpies were doing. I remember now. The Harpies were laying the smackdown on the Spellsinger, which is really going to cut into the effectiveness of the Treekin. So well played to my opponent, Chairman Mao. I look forward to seeing you again on ladder, and I hope you guys enjoyed that game. All right, now we're going for round 2. We're going to continue in the format of the extended BattleCast, where we play 2 or 3 games in a row. So I know I saw some comments on the last one that you guys liked it, so why not? Let's do it. And once I get a little more endurance, I guess I could say, my voice actually gets tired because, like I've told you guys in other videos, I'm kind of essentially I'm an athletic director, and I'm always yelling at sporting events and things. So I gotta keep my voice rested. So he's gonna play Chaos. So I can't wait to stream. I'm actually gonna start streaming end of January, and I'd like to see what you guys would like me to play against Chaos. But we could play the Dwarves. That could be fun. We could play Dwarves, we could play Empire. Empire is one of the factions I really need to work on. But we could also play some Wood Elves. Wood Elves would be fun. Man, choices. So let's go ahead and just play the Dwarves. We'll make the Dawi proud. Let's get, not Belegar, we probably want High King Thorgrim. He's kind of been my go-to lately. We're going to get 2 Runesmiths, which just great utility from these guys. We don't need the Master Rune of Grungni. From the second one, we just remove all the abilities except the Rune of Wrath and Rune. So that should be pretty good. Thane's okay, but for now I think we're going to opt out of the Thane. So we're going to get Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. We're going to get 2 groups of Dwarf Warriors. I know in some builds I actually get up to like 5, including the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, but here we're going to go with a little bit more of a well-rounded build. So we're going to get the Grumbling Guard as well as 2 Warriors, 2 Longbeards with great weapons. Then on top of that, we still have 4,000 left, so let's go ahead and get 2 Thunderers. And do we want to get Cannons? This map is okay for Cannons. I'm not a huge fan of them here, but Thunderers can be pretty good against Chaos. if you have the appropriate support for them. So we're going to get some Slayers in the back line, and let's see, what else do we want to get? So this is, I would like the Norgrimling's Ironbreakers. These guys are so much fun. So we go ahead and get these. Let's just get these. So this is a bit more of a mobile army. I'm definitely not going to be sitting back and kind of using cannons. I'm going to be, advancing essentially. And I actually do have enough for a group of miners. So let's just throw them in there just for, extra support in the back line and, cav fodder. Hopefully not too much, but I like the Thunderers for dealing with like flying harass. And if he does decide to land, I'll have a group of Slayers as well as some miners there probably, which I think will be pretty good. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully you guys enjoy this game. I did decide to bring the Ironbreakers last minute, so hopefully that pays off. But they're just so good. Their satchel charges, like even against like heavily armored, targets, can really do some serious work. And even though they don't have armor piercing, I feel like they just hold up against everything. And I think that's simply because they have like is it 70 or 80 something melee defense? It's just so powerful. So we'll see how it goes this game. Hopefully it goes well. But definitely like Dwarfs vs. Chaos. I would have brought 2 cannons normally. I feel like they're pretty good against armored units. They're good at punishing large units, with their anti-large bonus. But I didn't remember what this map looked like, so I didn't want to risk a forested map. Like here, it would have been pretty good because there's a big open field separation. So in retrospect, I probably would have liked to have brought 2 cannons, or at least a cannon, maybe the Goblobber or something. I don't know, just have some fun there. But still, I think I should be good. The 2 Thunders, it's not as much to protect as 2 cannons. And with High King Thorgrim, you can kind of go a little bit wider. You know how they say in some games there, and if any of you guys have ever played Magic the Gathering, there's a whole principle in TCGs of going wide, expanding your resources and trying to win that way rather than going narrow and elite, I guess you could say. But still, you can go wide with High King Thorgrim, which is pretty nice. Definitely a bit of a safer build in my opinion. So, all right, let's do this, and looks like the game's about to start. The one issue with the BattleCast and the live games is that if your opponent's lagging horribly, you guys have to endure that, which definitely I would imagine is not as fun to watch. So. We have a somewhat Napoleonic army here. We don't have the true cannons and all that kind of stuff, but, it's still okay. So we're going to have these guys be in our front lines. We're going to put the Ironbreakers front and center, just have them kind of hold it down there. We're going to put our armor-piercing troops kind of in the secondary line here, which should be fine. We're going to put our Thunderers actually in the front, because we're going to march on him. We're going to get a few firing volleys, and hopefully we'll be able to do some work and then pull them back to the flank and micro them from there. So High King Thorgrim can be there. We can have 1 Runesmith here and 1 here. So we're probably going to actually put these guys a little further back, because if he does have a Hell Cannon, we don't want to be right on top of each other. And these Slayers can be in the separate group, and the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass we can also keep over here on one flank. So what we're going to do is keep them on the wing here, and then we'll keep these miners on this wing over here, which obviously isn't going to be as good as the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, but it is what it is. So we'll pull the Thunderers back to this particular combat zone once the fighting starts, and we'll have the Slayers ready to protect them. So let's go ahead and lock that formation, and we want to move them a little closer. The less marching, the better. And, we can actually start in the forest, which is fine. It gives my opponent, less tactical insight as to what I'm doing, and he's probably going to do the same thing. So hopefully no Hell Cannon. Hell Cannons, if microed, custom microed. Oh, so he has Chaos Knights, man, Marauder Horsemen, all kinds of stuff. So I'm pretty glad I brought the Thunderers. Let's go ahead and just start marching down the pipe. It looks like he does have a Hell Cannon, but as you guys can see, the Hell Cannons are deployed in the tree line there, which is going to be pretty tough. I mean, they're going to just hit these trees essentially when they're shooting. But still, that's a ton of damage. So what does he have? Aspiring Champs, some Chaos Marauders, Aspiring Champions, and just a ton of Cav. Are these Marauder Horsemen? So these are standard Marauder Horsemen, which honestly will be defeated in melee by Thunderers. He does have the low-tier infantry for the most part. A little bit of lag going on, so hopefully you guys don't mind that. Maybe it'll clear up here in just a moment, but still. Yeah, 927, so he probably just has a Marauder Horde, which the Ironbreakers and the Dwarf Warriors are just going to punish the Marauders so hard. We're going to use the Thunderers just to shoot at these Marauder Horsemen, and hopefully we can get some, good exchanges there in that respect. He does have 2 groups of Chaos Knights as well, so those guys, these are the sustained combat Chaos Knights. They have 50 melee defense. They're very hard to kill in sustained combat. They don't have as much shock damage, but we're just going to use the Rune of Wrath and Rune to kind of wear those guys down, hopefully. So we're just going to continue marching down the pipe, just get as close to our opponent as we can. You can see he actually is able to fire through the tree line, which, is a little bit tricky, but you can see the accuracy. I don't think he's manually aiming them right now. And some of them will just simply get caught on these trees, which is pretty good for us. So we're going to continue going. We do have the Slayers here. He is positioning over here in the wings, but we don't want to let the Marauders distract us. And keep in mind, these guys aren't the armor-piercing ones, so yeah, I don't think we really have to worry about them. We can kind of just ignore them and let their axes bounce off our armor. So unfortunately, the Hell Cannon is shooting. It makes a little bit of contact, doesn't kill any models. It looks like he is targeting the Thunderers, so he's trying to take out my range, which is fine. Yeah, I'm sorry about the lag, guys. I apologize. There's not much I can do, unfortunately, but these guys are just chilling over here. Would it be nice to have some Coilers right now just to kind of sick them over there and have them do that. So we could actually just kind of run them up in here and run these guys over here and keep the Slayers over here by the Cav. And of course we can detach some troops. So he's firing in. He does hit the Grumbling Guard, and I think he's manually aiming them now. Although, yeah, he does hit the Ironbreakers and those guys both at once, which is very, very tricky. So we're just going to have to take those shots like champs, unfortunately. So we're going to put these guys in a separate control group, and 3, just continue marching. And honestly, I think once we get like close to him, he's not going to be able to do much against our core here. So we're going to put these guys out in a fanning formation like so, and he's continuing to shoot. Man, he's making some good contact right now. So my opponent's definitely manually aiming those and just kind of turtling here in the forest, but he's going to have to, generate some pretty good value. Hopefully the Ironbreakers can get, close before the, fighting really starts. So we're going to see if we can shoot at these Chaos Knights a little bit. And over here, we're pretty close to these guys. So let's see if we can get some shots on those guys. Slayers, we're going to keep over here because these guys aren't as far from my armor. You can see the separation here isn't as bad. So I want the Slayers over here to protect these ones. So you can see my opponent maneuvering. So we're just going to kind of move up on these Chaos Knights, bring the Slayers to help. And the Warriors who Dragonfire Pass can detach also if they like. So far so good, guys. We're having a good time taking some fire here. Hopefully we can get some free shots on these Chaos Knights here, which would be pretty nice. They do have silver shields, I think. Oh, they only have bronze shields. Interesting. So are they going to get a volley off? Yeah, we get a few shots. No serious damage or anything, but it's enough to write home about. We're going to pull some miners over here, put them group 4, and just have them defend those guys while we skirmish. And we're going to keep our main army moving, which is very, very important. So Slayers, we're just going to keep pressuring these Chaos Knights, which is fine. He does have some Marauders he might be able to detach, but the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass will put in group 5 in position here. Just keep the rest of the group kind of pushing up. And we should just win this infantry battle so heavily. And you can see the tree line is definitely a bit of an inhibiting factor. So we're going to go ahead and move those guys up here. He does have some Marauder Horsemen in the flank, but I honestly don't really care about them. I don't think they're going to do a whole lot. So we're just going to keep shooting here, keep these Slayers kind of right up on their tail, keep these Dwarf Warriors over here as well to intercept these Marauders in case he tries to deal with that. And if he's just going to run, we'll probably just honestly start shooting at his infantry here for now. Over here, we're going to keep moving, and all right, it's almost time to fight, guys. So we haven't seen what he has exactly here in the tree line, but we're going to go ahead and engage here. We're going to pull these guys here. The Ironbreakers, we're going to posture up in the tree line, hiking Thorgrim as well. We'll put these guys over here, and this dwarf over here. He's not just a dwarf, he's a runesmith. He is coming in my rear line here. I don't know if he's going to charge in or anything, which is fine. He could. I think he's actually just going to throw at us, which is okay. So these guys are going to go here to posture up. The Slayers are going to go here, and these guys are going to turn and shoot at these, which is totally fine. So over here, let's see what he's doing with his guys over here. So it looks like he's overloading a bit, so we're going to move here, posture these guys up here, and these guys here, and so far so good. So I think in the infantry line, we should be okay. So we're actually going to pull Thorgrim back. We're going to go ahead and pull him over here, and so far so good. So we're getting some good exchanges here. The Chaos Knights are coming in hard, you can see, but we do have some good support here. We have the Slayers who can take those charges like absolute champs. Over here, the Rune of Wrath and Rune's going off. We'll switch these guys to melee, make sure they're engaged. Go ahead and use this and this. And we do have the Grumbling Guard and some other serious units here, which these standard Chaos Marauders aren't going to be able to do much against them. So our Dwarf Warriors have intercepted here in the back line. He might charge, to be honest, and if he does, Thunderers can beat these guys in melee pretty heavily, and you can see they're taking pretty substantial losses. So our Thunderers on the other side are unfortunately going to get ganked by these Chaos guys over here, so we'll pull these guys back. We might actually detach a group here, so let's actually pull these guys over here and have them help out. And the one funny thing about lag is it gives you, if you're a micro-intensive player, I guess, it gives you a lot of time to, react and feel out the situations, which is really funny, actually. So we're going to just continue to move these Slayers about and just keep shooting at these guys, just shutting them down. I mean, really, they're not going to do much here. So check our runes to make sure we're on top of that. Chaos Knights are sneaking around our flanks, and the Thunderers here are able to get back a little bit, but they do take a bit of a charge. The armor-piercing troops are coming to help. So, I think we're okay. We're going to take some rear charges, which, it's part of the game. So we'll pull these guys back here. We do have a Rune of Wrath and Rune up in 6 seconds, which is going to be quite nice. Grumbling Guard and the Norgrumling's Ironbreakers are in here. Let's pull Hiking Thorgrim back. And these guys are now in pretty good shape. So we're just going to continue shooting at these guys. So let's position these guys a little bit over here. Just reposition them, make sure they have a good angle. And we want to use this Rune of Wrath and Rune on these Chaos Knights. We have engaged in our back line, actually. So the Armor Piercing's coming over here, the Miners, and these guys should be able to deal with them. We're actually going to get these Thunderers shooting here and get these guys going after these as firing champs for now. So I think these Miners should be able to honestly zone those guys out, but actually, we do have troops coming in the flank here, so we could just start shooting here, and these guys, can we reach them right now? Let's shoot at these Chaos Knights here. Get these Slayers going after them as well. Slayers have been getting kited a little bit, but they're still kind of deterring my opponent's forces, so the Ironbreakers we want to keep in the main fight. We're actually probably going to send a contingent over there to deal with those Hell Cannons, which would be pretty good. Thorgrim and company, they can go over there, as well as the Ironbreakers, we want to pull them over there to win that flank. So the Slayers are collapsing. You can see the Thunder Fire is doing a very good job on these guys. And it's kind of funny because the slow motion is giving you guys a play-by-play in a way. It's letting you see the hard microing, I guess you could say. I wouldn't call it hard microing by any means, but definitely the Chaos Marauder hordes are pretty relentless, guys. They're putting some pressure on. We're going to use the Rune of Wrath here to keep those guys off the battlefield, and I should have another group kind of sneaking by. So yeah, the Grumbling Guard. I hate to pull them away from the battle though, but yeah, let's just keep them fighting. We'll just send that Runesmith back there for now, or even still, that's not a good idea. We need those runes in the front line, but so hopefully we'll just keep eating those like champs. These Slayers are going to intercept these guys, which it's kind of a little out of position here, but we'll pull these guys here, get these guys shooting at them. And these guys should be able to break these Chaos Marauders shortly, and hopefully we can like gun these guys down and break them before they get there, which would be pretty good. This Runesmith is coming back. Let's go ahead and use the Armor Rune right here, and those Hell Cannons are still in line. So whatever we're able to break next, I just don't want to take those guys out of melee, the Grumbling Guard, because the Endurance Aura is just so strong. So over here, come on, break them. They're so close, they're wavering. If we're able to waver these guys, we're going to have a great situation in the back line, just being very comfortable here. So these guys are taking a bit of damage. The Thunderers doing some pretty good work shooting at them. High King Thorgrim and the troops in the front. It looks like he has a Chaos Sorcerer with Lord of Death, actually, which is pretty cool. So we're going to just continue to collapse. Let's actually pull these guys in the back and do some fancy footwork here. Over here, these Dwarf Warriors are literally just like 2v1ing those Marauders, which is great. So we do have a Rune of Wrath and Rune. Let's go ahead and use it on these Chaos Knights, who are steady, actually. And these guys, oh man, they actually did get there. So let's pull the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass and the Slayers and collapse on them in an effort to try and preserve what little Thunderers we have left. So I think we should be able to clean them up here, or at least break them. So fortunately, we weren't able to. And are these Chaos Knights, or are these, what are these, Marauder Horsemen? It's kind of tricky just on topical analysis of realizing what they are, but his guys here are in pretty bad shape. We're just going to turn and finish these guys. Let's pull these guys here. Actually, let's keep these guys here, and then the Miners. They'd actually be a good candidate to run back there and help out here, but it looks like the Grumbling Guard are chasing a little bit. So let's go ahead and do this. And here we want to just switch them, and let's just throw some Satchel Charges in there for style points. If we're going to do this, we're going to use the Rune of Wrath and Rune here and do that. And so far, so good, guys. So we got Thorgrim here. He's ready to go. Let's go ahead and use the leadership buffs. Keep those Miners scurrying to the back line. Let's just like force path them back there, which should be fine. These guys are doing a pretty good job just punishing these. We'll keep these armor-piercing troops here who do have charge defense now. So over here, we were able to get the Slayers into these Knights here. Unfortunately, he was able to break me, but I think the Slayers and these Warriors of Dragonfire Pass should be able to win that. And I don't see the infantry battle going very well for him. His Lord is essentially broken. You can see the Satchel Charges are collapsing in the back line, and this is just awesome. Look at this situation here. Oh man, just absolute decimation of those low-tier troops. Let's pull these guys in here now and just kind of break them. I think it's time. So over here, we're going to send Norgling the Miners, as well as the Grumbling Guard. The battle's close enough to being over that I think we can get away with it. You can see the Thunderers are able to kind of rout these guys off. And let's see, does he have any Chaos Knights left? He does. He's still shooting me with the Hell Cannons. Oh, that's brutal, that 1-2 punch there. Oh my goodness. We are able to kill the Chaos Knights here and shake them, for the most part. So his Lord's now dead. We still have 2 Runes of Wrath and Ruin, so we should be pretty good in that respect. So let's get these guys here. And thankfully my opponent isn't like grabbing them and just running to the hills, because I've actually seen a lot of people do that against Dwarves lately. When they've lost, they just get their Chaos Dwarf crew and they just run into the hills and hide. It's so obnoxious. But we're continuing to chase here. I think we can probably just ignore these guys and just kind of pull everyone towards the front now, because I think we've done a good enough job protecting our back line. Though the Thunderers did get worn down over the course of the battle, they were still also very crucial in killing the Chaos Knights. So here, Thorgrim, let's go ahead and use his armor-piercing buffs, and it looks like that is all she wrote. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that double header, I guess you could say. Let's go ahead and look at the breakdown here. My apologies for the lag, guys. I know that might have been unbearable to watch in some ways, but hopefully you enjoyed it. So the Dwarf Warriors did good. Ironbreakers were awesome, especially that flank at the end when they threw those Satchel Charges. Man, that was cool. Miners actually did really good. I mean, they got 4 kills, but they took that charge like absolute champs. They fended them off, and they allowed these Thunderers to get these kills against mostly the Chaos Knights. So these are pretty valuable kills. The Infantry Corps, I obviously had a superior, heavy superior advantage here with Thorgrim, as well as these 3 kind of heavily armored Longbeards. It looks like he put some chevrons in the Aspiring Champs, which is interesting. But the Chaos Knights were, definitely a threat, but I think we were able to mitigate them with the Slayers and the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass and the other troops defending there. And the Hell Cannons, having them behind the trees they were further from me, but on that same coin, a lot of their damage was mitigated, though they did punish my Thunderers quite a bit. And he had some good manual aiming early on. He was able to really, really punish my Ironbreakers. Took a nice volley, and then that's like the only damage they took, actually. And then, of course, the Grumbling Guard took a bit of damage as well. So very well played to my opponent, Herrick. I look forward to seeing you again on ladder, and I hope you guys enjoyed that double header. Have an excellent night, and take care.